The province of Alberta is positioning itself as an internationally recognized technology and innovation hub that attracts talent, business and job creating investment from across Canada and around the world. Joining me to discuss innovation in Alberta is the Vice President of Investments with one of the province's largest research and innovation agencies, Doug Holt with Alberta Innovates. Doug, welcome to Bridge City News.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Doug, can you share the vision of Alberta Innovates?
Well, Alberta Innovates exists to support entrepreneurs and researchers across Alberta in everything from digital health to clean energy to smart agriculture to artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. We really are the province's research and innovation engine. We help companies drive new ideas forward and that we believe will help support the economy and create new jobs.
And can you just tell us what the intent of the Scale Up and Grow programs is?
The Scale Up Gap program was the product of a couple of years of research. And in Alberta, like Canada, we have a Scale Up Gap. And that means that half of all startups only survive 5 years. Only 1% of small firms become mid-size, and only 2% of mid-sized firms become large. So, this becomes a problem because these mid-sized firms, these ones that are scaling, these are our revenue creators, these are our job creators. And so it behooves us to try and address this issue. And that's what we're trying to do through the Scale Up Gap program. In Alberta specifically, small firms employ 9 in every 10 private sector workers,
Wow.
which is above the Canadian average. And so it becomes even more imperative in Alberta that we're looking at this. We figured the best way to do this was to let's bring in some folks who know how to do this. And so we brought in some accelerators from the US, from Silicon Valley. We partnered with Prairie's Can, with the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, with Edmonton Unlimited, and at the time, Jobs, Economy, and Innovation to put together a funding package to the tune of $35 million to attract these accelerators, bring them to the province. And it really is an unparalleled effort that there's nothing else quite like it in the country.
And so you're talking about these participants. What criteria is used to select them?
Well, we purposely selected accelerators that have different business models and different focus areas. And so their criteria that they select based upon is it differs from accelerator to accelerator. So that's a tougher one to answer.
No worries there. So typically, like, how many applications have you seen for these accelerator programs?
Well, we've had over 150 graduates so far and over 500 applications.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many innovators usually make the cut for entrance into these programs?
The mentor to company ratio is typically quite small, but it varies from accelerator to accelerator. It's not beneficial to the accelerator to have the group too big because they can't deliver the curriculum they want in the way they want. And so usually these groups they're fairly small.
Now, in the opening of our interview, you listed like a plethora of different industries. Is there a sector that you would like to see participate that is currently underrepresented among the participants?
No, not really. I think we're seeing good representation from a variety of different sectors, and so we're feeling quite comfortable with how it's being portrayed right now.
Now, these all sound very interesting, all these accelerator programs, but one that caught our eye was Plug and Play. What can you tell us about this accelerator?
It's a fascinating accelerator. So Plug and Play is they're global. They've got offices all over the globe, and what they do is they partner with large corporates. They determine what some of the big challenges are that are facing these corporates, and then they set to the task of working with them to find startups that can address these big challenges. So it's a win for the big companies, and it's a win for the startups. And why we thought it was so attractive was because it would give Alberta companies access to this global network. And it really is proving out to do that very, very well. They have 3 streams of support in Alberta around sustainability, health, and global acceleration.
And can you share with us what kind of high value ideas have come forward during these innovator programs?
the basic notion that's coming out in the accelerators is teaching companies how to think bigger and think different. We are competing in a digital economy. We are not. This is no longer about gaining just market share in Alberta. You have to come with a global mindset and a global mandate and a global business model, and that's what the accelerators are bringing to these companies. It's really helping them expand their horizons.
And are you seeing universities being involved with these accelerator programs?
Yes, we are. The universities are, of course, our source of our greatest inventors. And they're some of our greatest research and opportunity that come out of the universities. So the accelerators are working with the universities. Yep.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about technology, but sustainability, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence are all very top of mind right now. Is there one of these topics that maybe is being seen more than others in the Alberta companies participating in these accelerator programs?
Yeah, good question. One of the things I've noticed is that it's pretty difficult to predict where things are going to come from and where wins are going to come from. We're certainly seeing a lot of software as a service SaaS applications come in a variety of different sectors. Artificial intelligence is a tool, right? It can be used to optimize and create efficiencies. And so it is sector agnostic in its application, and we're seeing AI ML being used in a variety of different ways. IoT is popping up in the oil and gas sector and in other places. Certainly, Lethbridge College has some AR VR expertise, and they're working with a number of different areas in industry to leverage that. So there's a lot of variety in the ecosystem, and it's difficult to tell where it's going to come from, where it's going to go, because it is a very dynamic and fluid beast.
I'm glad you mentioned Lethbridge College because that kind of segues into my next question. What are you seeing popping up and emerging in southern Alberta? I know we've got lots of sunlight here. Maybe would it be more solar or wind, or is it something completely different?
Well, certainly solar, wind are the renewables piece of it is important in southern Alberta. I was fortunate to live down in southern Alberta for a number of years in your fine city, and so I'm well aware of the wind potential in the city. But ag tech is a big piece down there, and so we have a whole digital ag group that we've put together. And in our digital ag team, they're looking at everything from vertical farming to greenhouses to um, uh, crop production techniques, and Southern Alberta is core to that strategy and very involved in that.
And do you feel that these programs are on track to achieve the goals set out for the provincial government?
Yeah, we do. We are in alignment with the Alberta Technology Innovation Strategy, and so we take our marching orders from the government in terms of that, and we believe we are in alignment with it.
And you've talked about partnering with experts. And can you tell us about the collaborations and partnerships needed for these various programs?
Well, fundamentally, as I said earlier, we're competing on a global stage, and we are a province of about 4.5 million people. We're too small to be doing anything but collaborating, working together, and finding ways to make the pie bigger. It's better for companies to find these growth opportunities here in Alberta if they can do that, and it's better for employees.
And 500 Global has a really interesting story. Can you share with us how their role has been so critical to the success of new technology companies here in Alberta?
Sure. 500 Global is a venture capital firm that invests in founders building fast-growing technology companies. It focuses on markets where technology, innovation, and capital can unlock long-term value and drive economic growth. 500's curriculum that they deliver and the mentors that they choose is really, really core to their value proposition. They deliver it very, very well, and the graduates that come out of that program are um, polished, and they have a very clear understanding of what their value proposition is and what their business model is.
So, do you have any feedback from companies in the program about how 500 Global has benefited their projects?
Yeah, I routinely meet with the companies and talk to them and find out, how things are going. They have the feedback thus far has been very positive. And I believe the proof is going to be in the pudding in terms of the number of new customers gained, capital raised, things like that. And we're starting to see early indications of the impact of the accelerators program on those metrics in particular.
So now let's talk about agriculture. The Thrive Canada Accelerator has a lot to do with agriculture. Can you share with us some of the benefits for Alberta's agriculture tech that has come out of this specific accelerator?
Sure. SVG Thrive supports early stage companies across the agri-food value chain. Innovators in this accelerator are looking at automated greenhouses, vertical farming, livestock data sensors, bacteria detection by way of artificial intelligence, robotics to automate labor-intensive tasks, repetitive tasks, and lots of other great things.
And you've touched on a few times about how Alberta is coming onto the world stage. How has this made Alberta companies stand out?
I think certainly it's showcasing Alberta companies to a global network of companies, and they're seeing the talent and the opportunity that's here by way of the press that we're also seeing that's coming here. We're seeing an influx of capital. Capital has wings, and capital will move to where the opportunities are. And Alberta is becoming known as an emerging tech opportunity that investors are looking towards. So I think there's a number of different factors there. From the broader geography, and that could have impacts from tourism or what have you. The tech economy growing and being known better, and then the influx of capital coming here.
Now, what about cryptocurrency mining? I know there's an abundant energy in southern Alberta with wind and solar. Is that emerging here?
It is, absolutely. We're seeing a number of companies taking advantage of that. The Western Canadian Sedimentary Basin is a gas basin largely, and so there is a lot of opportunities to leverage natural gas as the feedstock for Bitcoin mining or cryptocurrency mining in general. So we are seeing that as an emerging trend, and there are opportunities there. You can look to places like Texas, for example, that have done similar things, and the impacts on GDP were material. So Alberta is looking at that, and there are a number of actors in the province that are actively pursuing that currently.
And then what are the next steps for companies involved after their participation in the accelerators?
After their participation in the accelerators, it depends where they are in the accelerators. If they were in the pre-accelerator program, we hope that they'll transition into one of the accelerators that are set up, like with the SVG or with Plug and Play or with 500 or with CSW, which is a social impact accelerator. If once they graduate from those accelerators, our hope is that really they're launch ready and they're ready to go into the economy, and they're ready to start taking advantage of what they've learned through the program. But that said, Alberta is also very, very unique in the fact that it does have Alberta Innovates as an entity, a crown corporation that provides a suite of programs designed to support entrepreneurs on their journey. So whether the companies need to, get support with business development, or they need to hire a CFO, or they need help in product development, or demonstrating a product, we have programs that can support these companies and help them move along their journey to create even further opportunities. So really, it's a friendly place for entrepreneurs in Alberta.
Yeah. So Doug, that is all the time we have for today, but thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very, very welcome. Have a great day.
That was Doug Holt, Associate Vice President of Investments. He joined us from his office in Calgary.